Procrastination. Let's talk about procrastination today. But before we begin, hit that like button and subscribe. And I gotta say it, welcome to my 1,491 subscribers. We have really been moving up in the last month. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate my current subscribers and my new subscribers too. And I want to keep continuing to put out valuable content, something you can take in your life and use it. Tools that you can help you achieve what you desire to achieve in life, because everybody's got a dream inside of them. You may deny it, you may push it down, you may rationalize it or logicalize it away, but you got one in there. And it's my desire to get you to bring that dream out and live it. And until you do, you won't be able to feel fulfilled as a man. Now, I don't know about women. They're a little bit different than we are. But, all right, let's go. Procrastination. What do you think of when you think of procrastination? I hear my boys talking in the other room. Can they just talk like quietly? No, they're loud. Was I loud when I was young? Probably. All right, let's go. Procrastination is fear. It's a long word, and it really just has 4 letters, F-E-A-R. If you're procrastinating about something, you're afraid. You're afraid of something. So what you might want to do is write down what it is you're procrastinating about, and then write down why you're not doing it. Or write down what you would do if you knew you would not fail. You will find that you're actually afraid. What would you do if you knew you would not fail? Here's one too. I can't afford it. I don't have time. I'll do it later. I'll do it tomorrow. The reason I brought that up is because I'm working on my website. A new company took over the company that I previously had it with, so we're making some changes. They wanted, they wanted a video on each of the subjects I had: business, travel, fitness, I can't remember what the other one was, relationships. And I didn't want to do it. I don't know why, but I did do it before we started this video. They were just little clips, a minute long, 50 seconds long, but I was procrastinating because I wasn't sure if I could do it perfectly. There's another thing. Are you a perfectionist? Sometimes we use that to keep us from doing things. Well, if I can't do it perfect, I'm not going to do it. Well, I'm going to wait until I get this, or until I get that, or until I'm in better shape. No, now's the time to start. Do the best you can now, go with that, and if you can improve it later, improve it later. It's fear. Fear stands between you and everything you desire. There's a certain teaching, I think it's Neville Goddard talks about it. He talks about bridges of incidence. Okay, when you have a goal, and you think about that goal every day, you program it into your subconscious, things will come to you in a way that you never could have planned, with this rational mind. Okay, let's go with this example, because I have a lot of men here mostly, and you guys want to date beautiful women, right? Okay. Before you can date beautiful women, you have to believe that's possible. And to get to where you can believe that's possible, you have to see yourself as that man, the kind of man that all women want to be with and all men want to be like. I don't care if you're sitting there fat in your Cheeto dust, out of shape, couldn't walk a block. The only thing that's stopping you is you. Maybe you look in the mirror and you think, man, I'm ugly. I'm not Brad Pitt. I'm not, who's that one guy? George Clooney. Whatever. And no matter what age you are, maybe you think I'm too young, I'm too old. Hell, I'm 62. I still date girls in their 20s. Okay, I have girls, my kids' friends, that are underage that are calling me a DILF. I didn't even know what a DILF was. You know what a D-I-L-F? Okay, if you don't know what that is, look it up, because I'm not going to say it. It's like a MILF, but it's a DILF. And I'm like, what the hell? But yeah, they tell my kids that stuff. So I take that as a great compliment. Of course, they're underage and I stay away from them, but the point is, that's a great compliment. How can that be? It's because I believe that all things are possible. And if you believe that it's possible for you to have the beautiful woman that you desire, then you will take action in that direction. But before you can believe it, you have to change your thinking. And you have to stop procrastinating. Procrastinating is just fear. Maybe you have a girl in mind that you like. You look at her on social media. Maybe you've DM'd her a couple times. You have to meet her. If she's around you, if she's not, then you're just playing with yourself. Some guys get on dating sites and they talk to girls from other countries. They never have any intention of going and meeting those girls. I've been out of the country over 30 times. I went and met girls in other countries. When I talk to a girl anywhere in the world, it's a possibility she's a candidate that I may go meet her. If I want to go to her country, because I've never been there. I love to travel. I love adventure. But I'm always afraid. I always got a fear. Geez, I got to travel. I've never been to that country before. I wonder what it's like. And of course, if you look on the government website, almost always, if it's a third world country or hell, even in the UK, it says level 4 warning. Do not go there. Avoid this, avoid that. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you a level 10 warning if you go to Chicago, a 6 or an 8 here in St. Louis in certain places. It's the same thing no matter where you go. So if you're thinking about traveling, quit procrastinating and just do it. I heard someone say one time, the time will never return, but the money will. Remember, the money will come back, the time won't. If you wait till you're 60, 70, 80 years old, I'm 62, but I've been traveling since I was 30. I have out of the country. I traveled a lot around the U.S. Hell, when I was 16, I was traveling around the U.S. and on my motorcycle. 16, through ages 16 to 20. I went very many different places on my bike by myself. And after I turned 30, and we got the birds out here making a lot of noise. After I turned 30, I started traveling out of the country. And as I said, I've been out of the country 30, 35 times. Sometimes to the same place. I like to go to the Caribbean. Mexico's okay. I've been there 2 or 3 times. Latin America, I lived there for over 6 years. Colombia. I was thinking about going to Peru or Trinidad. I've been to Aruba twice, the Bahamas a couple times, Punta Cana in Dominican Republic. And sometimes I take a beautiful woman with me from out of the country. And that's a lot of fun. She gets to come along with me and we have a great time. You can do the same thing. The women in other countries are very different from the women in the U.S. I have hundreds of phone numbers from girls from other countries. But when I try to get numbers from girls here in the U.S., they're all scared to death. They're afraid, no, not all of them. I'd say the majority, 98% of them, are afraid to give their number out. If I don't like a girl, I won't contact her. And if she doesn't, I do have some numbers from girls from the U.S. I'll send them a message or two. I don't like them, I quit responding. Or if they don't get back with me, I send them a message. I don't send them another one. But I can only guess, maybe some of you can tell me, there's so many simps out there that won't leave them alone. They don't take no for an answer and they don't know when to stop messaging a girl. Remember, texting and messaging is just to meet the girl. And that can go back to procrastination. If you're constantly texting and messaging a girl, you're just giving her free attention. And as you know, the coin of gold for women is attention. If you're not going to meet her, you're just wasting your time. Because each time you message her and you don't say, hey, let's get together, or let's meet, or we should meet, she thinks of you a little less than she did the message before. And she may keep you around just to have someone to talk to when she has nothing else to do. But she's not going to meet up with you because you waited too long. Now I have someone calling me on the phone. My daughter, of course. She's downstairs, but she's calling me here. So remember, procrastination is just fear. Ask that girl out. okay, let me give you a good way to, don't ask. Go up and say, hey, we should get together for coffee tomorrow. We should get together to go on that adventure, whatever you want to do. But think of something you want to do that she might enjoy. But don't put yourself into her frame. Bring her along. Word the question or whatever, like you should go out with me. Because you're not, well, sure, but you got to say somewhere, you got to be definite. You should go with me to the movies, you should go with me for dinner tomorrow night, you should go with me for a run, you should go with me to the pro fight or the UFC fight, or you should go with me to Aruba, Cancun, the Bahamas, whatever is in your price budget. For me, it's worth every penny to go out of the country and date someone not from the U.S. Now, I love women from the United States, but most of them are about my age, which I don't date women my age because they don't take care of themselves, okay? But like I'm working for a client now, she's 82 and her husband's 87. The sweetest woman. She doesn't understand all this modern, and they got a beautiful house, they've had a wonderful life, big family, lots of kids. I'm telling you what, 82 years old, this woman is taking care of herself, and she's beautiful on the inside, as well as she's not overweight, she's slim, she dresses nice every day. See, I remember a time when women went out and they had slacks maybe, or skirts. They went to the beauty shop every week to get their hair done. Rarely did you ever see anybody go out looking like the majority of people in Walmart look like. It's just incredible. So I'm gearing this or bringing this back around to why I go out of the U.S. because even out in other countries, I can pick out the women from the U.S. because they just don't dress nice, they don't put makeup on, they don't fix their hair, the majority. They wear flip-flops, they wear pajamas in the airport. It's just, to me, it's incredible. But I grew up in a different time, so everything is relaxed now. But you can see it in the way people dress, their attitudes, the way they present themselves, the way they hold themselves. Okay, but I'm getting way off procrastination. So get up and do something with yourself. What's stopping you? I know you're sitting there right now thinking of something you could do to better yourself. And I'll guarantee you, when you get up and do it and face that fear, whatever it might be, you'll feel better afterwards. It gives you a rush of power, a feeling of exhilaration you don't get in any other way. It's like when I spar with my boys. They're training for boxing and I get to spar with them. I enjoy that. Am I nervous? Not really. I've fought so much in my life. I've had so many fights in the gym, out of the gym, in the ring, at the hotels. We'd have fights at the hotels, pro boxing and amateur boxing. So, but there's a certain thrill to that because I know there's a possibility I might get hurt. As a man, you need some kind of physical contact to feel like a man. That's my belief. For me, I can go out at 62 years old, I can go anywhere and know that I can handle almost anybody out there if they confront me. Now, of course, there's thousands of people out there who could whip the shit out of me, but there's millions of people out there that I could whip if I had to. And I'm not advocating violence, I'm advocating confidence. And that's something else you may be procrastinating about. Maybe you've been humiliated before, like I have in the past when I was younger. It was terrible. I was afraid to fight. And I was bullied. And I'm glad I was bullied because it helped me push myself to learn how to fight. Because it got to the point where I thought, man, it can't feel any worse getting the shit beat out of you than it does feeling humiliated by somebody calling me a pussy or what other kinds of derogatory names they called me, and I would just wither away because I was afraid to stand up for myself. And the first time I got into a fight, I lost. You know, the guy had me, I think he was beating my head against the wall, and I thought, man, if I don't hit this guy, he's going to kill me. So I punched him a few times, and the fight got broke up, and that was it. But I felt great. Even though I would admit the guy lives close to me today and we see each other, it's no big deal. I fought a lot of people in the street years ago that, hell, we talk now like it's no big deal. We have a certain respect for each other. Whether I won, they won, it doesn't matter. There's a respect a man gets. And you notice it a lot in the gym. So if you decide to go to a gym, UFC, karate, boxing, where you actually hit each other, you'll find that you build a respect between each other that you can't get in any other way, regardless of who's the baddest. And that's something that, man, if I could just give you that, I would do it, but you got to get up, you got to earn it, you got to go out there and do it. I don't give a shit how bad a shape you're in, just take that first step. And there's a lot of difference between punching a bag and punching something that punches back. You can look like a real badass on the punching bag and get your ass whipped when you get in the ring. That's just the way it is. But for a man, we have so many men today that feel so badly that they have to take medicine to change their mood, when they don't realize and no one tells them that you could change your own mood if you would get up and do something. Put a challenge before you. You need some adversity, some constructive adversity. People don't talk about that. They just say, oh, you need to go to the doctor, you're depressed. Have I been depressed in my life? You're damn right I have. I've had bad depression. When I was a kid, I got it. In my youth, in November here where I live, the clouds would get cloudy. Sometimes the sun didn't shine for 30 days. And I would get depressed. And I self-medicated for years with drugs and alcohol until I quit working. Then I had to find a different way. But had someone been able to show me a different way when I was younger, maybe I wouldn't have had to drink till I was about 30 years old. But that's the way it was. And because of that, I'm here and I'm able to help you guys today. So if you're feeling depressed, and I know sometimes when you're depressed, it's like you don't even want to move. It almost immobilizes you, but you got to use your will and get up and take one step after another. And depression is a form of procrastination and fear also, because life has beat you down so badly that you just don't even want to try again. What's the point? What's the use? But that's when you have to use the strength of your will, and you have it. The will is not used to overpower other people so much as it is used and needed to overpower ourselves, our emotions. And you will find when you make yourself get up and do something, you'll feel a little better. And you may have to come and sit right back down when you're done. But you make yourself get up and do it again and again and again. And eventually you will work your way out of that depression. You will cure your depression. Now, some people may retort, come back to me and say, well, it's a chemical imbalance. Hey, I agree 100%. When I was depressed, I'm sure it was a chemical imbalance caused by the way I was thinking and the foods I were eating and the things I was doing that weren't good for me and the things that I wasn't doing that would have been good for me. Yes, your body, the chemical imbalance can be regulated by your actions and your thinking. More and more, doctors are discovering that anger, resentment, shame, guilt, these things lead to heart disease, overeating, diabetes, drinking, alcohol. It's the way you think, and you have to change your perspective on life. And only you can do that. No doctor, no psychologist, no one, no psychiatrist is going to be able to do that for you. You have to do that. Get into a support group. There are a lot of great support 12-step groups out there. Maybe you're an overeater, alcoholic, drug addict, cocaine addict, sex addict, whatever it happens to be. You can find strength in these groups. And there again, if you've been thinking about going, but you're afraid to, you're procrastinating because you're afraid. You have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to try something different. Nothing changes, nothing changes. How can you expect different results tomorrow if you do the same thing today that you've been doing for the previous days and weeks and months? Nothing's going to change. No one can do your push-ups for you. You have to do it. And that's another reason I'm here to encourage you. Think about, is it Goggins? Is it Terry Goggins? The black guy, that athlete. Look at what he's done with his life. He was bullied when he was young. He was way overweight. Now he's considered the toughest man alive. What's the difference between him and you or me? He took the action. He forced his will upon his body to make himself do those things. You got the same thing within yourself. You just have to exercise it. I mean, you don't have to do what he does. You should look him, Terry Goggins, I think is his name. You should look him up and see some of the things that he's accomplished. From a trembling, fearful little runt of a man to the powerful, strong, inspiring man that he is now. All of us have that within us. You just have to think outside the box. Don't be a conformist. Get along with people, of course, but don't. I dropped out of high school. I just couldn't. I didn't want to be a worker bee among the worker bees. It wasn't for me. I mean, mom and dad and my brother all worked at a company, and that worked out well for them. But things are different today. You can't rely on the company to retire. It almost becomes like a god to you. You lose your job, you go crazy because you have nothing else. What are you going to do? There's only one thing that'll give you a feeling of security in life, and that's when you can depend on yourself and your God, however you deem God to be. Because there's going to come a time in your life when people will fail you, your friends, your family will fail you. And who do you trust then? You have to believe in yourself, and it helps for me to believe in a higher power, to believe that there's some force out there I don't understand. I don't understand that force. But if I have a goal set and I'm going in a direction, even if everything goes to hell, I believe that that thing is going to hell is actually bringing me closer to my goal, even though I can't see it in the moment. There's a part of us, the God part of us, that can see the past, the future, the present. There is no past, future, or present to that part of us. To us, there is. And it knows exactly how to get us to where we want to go. But when we try to figure it out, why is all this happening? This is moving me farther away from my goal. That's our P-brain, logical 2 plus 2 = 4 mind, trying to convince us that it knows best. It knows the best way to get to where we want to go. How many times in your life have you wanted something so badly and you didn't get it? And then 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years down the road, you look back and think, man, I'm glad I didn't get that. Or other times in your life where you wanted something so badly and you pushed and you strove and you gritted and you tried and you gave everything to get what you wanted and you got it. And then a month, 6 months, a year, you thought, man, I'd have been better off if I didn't get this. See, when you were forcing your will upon other people, places, situations, that was you saying you know what's best with this mind that they taught you how to use in school. This memorization mind, this logical mind, this mind that wants to figure everything out. How in the hell are you going to figure everything out when you can't see into the future? You can't remember the past very well. 75% in studies show of what you remember from the past is not really the way it happened. It was your perception. So how do you think you're going to run your life with that mind that they taught you to use in school? The imagination is the creative part of us. Whatever you can imagine, you can achieve. Einstein said imagination is more powerful, it's more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Knowledge is what you learn in school. It has its place, but it's limited. Imagination is unlimited. What I'm talking to you on now, this camera, was first in the mind of a man. Imagination, in someone's imagination. But we grow up people telling us, you're too imaginative. All right, that's your imagination. It gets talked about like it's nothing. That's what we should be taught in school, how to use that. But they don't want thinkers. They don't want free thinkers. They want workers. When I was in school, my dad was in school, and my kids are in school, they're still telling them the same thing. If you don't get a high school education, you won't get a good job. So what are they programming you to do? to get a good job. And I'm really getting off of procrastination here. I got off on a rant here. School's got its place. I am grateful I learned how to type, I learned how to read, I learned how to write, and I learned how to do some things in metal shop. What else did I learn? I did drafting, I like that. But the rest of the things, after, I'll say almost the 6th or the 8th grade, I quit when I was a freshman. They were pointless for me. It never stopped me from doing anything. But let's say I would have believed if I didn't get a high school education, I'm never going to accomplish anything. Because that's the message they tell you. Like, you got to get that education. I never needed it for anything. I did my GED later. I used it one time to work for a company in '95. And that was just enough time, 6 months. I believe that was my higher self to tell me, this is not for you. And it's not for me. So ever since then, I went back to being a self-employed entrepreneur. I've had several businesses I started and they failed. What do they teach us in school? Failure is bad. You want to increase your success rate? Double your failure rate. Failure is not final. The road to success is paved with failure. If you're not failing, you're not trying. But in school, my God, if you get an F, oh my God, you failed. And who wants to take that home and show their parents? You disappoint your parents, you disappoint yourself. Man, you're dumb. The message there is, you're dumb. People come here from all over the world, they die to get here, and they become millionaires. They can't read the language, they can't write the language, they don't have a high school diploma. How do they do that? Now, if you bring that up to most teachers in school, not all of them, and I'm not bad-mouthing teachers. Thank God we have teachers. They help us. They help me. Like I said, I learned some great stuff in school. It's the system I'm talking about. And I lost my train of thought here. Oh, but anyway, people come here from all over the world. They become millionaires. They become successful. Did they have a high school education? No, they didn't. But if you believe that you have to have that, and you go out into the world, and maybe you try to get a job and you can't do it, you start thinking, well, they were right. I don't have that education. I'm never going to amount to anything. That's bullshit. Bullshit. It's not true. And if you bring these points up, many of them will say, well, you're an exception. They tell my kids, your dad's an exception. We're all exceptions if we decide to be exceptions. That choice is yours. But first you have to quit procrastinating on what you know you're supposed to do, what you need to do. Only you can do it. And that fear is false evidence appearing real. It's an illusion. Hell, 95 or 98% of the things, maybe all of it, that I feared in my life never came to pass. Every time I got in the ring, I was afraid. How many times did I get beat up? A couple times, but most of the time I didn't. So there you go. Yeah, that fear wasn't real. And when I did, once I got in there and I got hit, even if I lost the fight, I wasn't afraid anymore. The fear was the illusion keeping me from stepping in the ring, keeping me from stepping toward the goals I had at the time. And that's what fear and procrastination is for you. It's a hindrance created within your own mind that's stopping you from achieving what you came here to achieve. To provide whatever service to humanity you came here to provide. We all provide service to each other. Successful, rich, entrepreneurs, people who make it in life, provide excellent service, and a lot of it. People badmouth rich people that have made millions of dollars, but they're providing more service to the world than others are. Your income, your success, your prosperity will be in direct correlation to what service you provide. But you will never provide any service if you don't step out of that fear, out of that comfort zone, away from procrastination and toward what you know you need to do. I understand it, man. You start coming up with all these rational reasons why you can't do it, why you should wait. Well, I'll do that when the kids graduate from school. I'll do that when I get that raise. Well, maybe I better not travel. What if something happens and maybe the car breaks down? I spend this money on this trip and then I got to buy a new car. He who watches the clouds will never sow the seed. There's always going to be clouds out there, especially if you look for them. And if you watch the clouds, you're never going to sow the seed, and thus you're never going to get a plant. That's an analogy. What that means is if you're always watching or worried about something going to happen if you decide to do this, you're never going to get there. And as I'm telling you, I can remember things in my life where I've allowed things to stop me. I want to buy another vehicle for the business, okay? But then I think, what if work slows down? That's fear. That's procrastination. I know that's what I need to do, and I've taken action on it. Actually, I had a guy call me, he had 2 vans, and he left a message. I didn't want to call him back because I thought, well, I might have to buy him. But I did call him back, and he hasn't gotten back with me for some reason. I told him to give me a price on him. He never got back with me. But I took the action in that direction. And when the opportunity comes up, maybe he was having trouble with one of them, and might have cost a lot of money to get it going. But what I'm saying is, if I didn't take that step in that direction, then other opportunities for me to get another vehicle wouldn't probably have popped up. Because you have to take advantage of the opportunities, or at least explore the opportunities that are presented to you. Don't rationalize or logicalize them away so you don't have to take any action, because that's fear and procrastination. It's all the same thing. If there's a devil, it should be doubt and fear, because that destroys more dreams than anything else. Think of all the wars. Most of them are caused by fear. The soldiers on both sides are afraid they're going to kill each other, afraid they're going to be killed. And who are they fighting for? Usually some higher up, almost always higher ups who want this. They're afraid they're not going to have enough. They're afraid they're going to get taken, etc., etc. Fear, fear. If you could eliminate fear and doubt in the world, we would probably have peace, because there would be peace within each one of us. And we will never have peace in the world until each individual has peace within themselves. I'm going to wrap it up right there. Once again, thank you guys for joining me. If you'd like to get my help personally, my website is marksinspiration.com. Half off of consulting sessions for the month of September. And I'm going to get out of here. It's a beautiful sunny fall day in Missouri. And I hope it's great wherever you are in the world today. Take care. And remember, step through the fear.